And just like that, I've fixed the iPad. So as you can see, you bring it over here, you put it in the holder, it won't fall out, and then you can rotate the view of the device, and you can see as well that it is now working and it's not doing its craziness with that. Now if I go into our Navronics app, here we are. Here's a route that I've put in from Plymouth to Weymouth, which is an auto route that's been slightly adjusted to certain, well, see, even there it does go for perhaps the best route fuel wise, but it did take us quite close to Portland Bill and the Portland race here. You know, it came up to about here and up, so I've moved it around to just get away from that issues that happen off of Portland Bill, and then it then worked this out here, and then we're back up here into Weymouth. So this is as I say, an auto route that Navronics software has done, and then you have to go through a high rate of zoom and just basically check your depth, check you know, any issues that you may be finding along the way, basically. But the point of this is that I've obviously got this here, but this here is old and slow. I mean, slow like you wouldn't believe, and this here obviously is really quick. There is a problem with this, however, that I've known. You can go into it like this, so you know where you are. Here we are, and you can be really, you know, go right the way down here. There we are. So we're right in the, and if we take off easy view, it just depends whether it magnifies text and stuff. But we're here. These green boys, you can't see them out the window, but they're in the marina themselves, and so it's very precise. It's very good, and it's got everything that you could possibly need, including the fact that when we come out of the lock here, there's a warning here because of shallow water, based on the fact that this boat draws about 5 feet. So this length of water here, but there's very little you can do about that. And since the boat has been out here many a time, and fishing trawlers doing everything else, there not much you can do about it. But once you get out, you have got a channel to follow here, and the place where we've got to go, Mountbatten Boathouse, is somewhere down here, I think. So literally across the river. So anyway, I don't really know why I'm going on quite so much about this, but what you can't have is something very simple, unless I'm missing something out completely, is what is your lat long, easily to identify on screen, okay, and also you've got like your distance, nautical miles and rough time before you get to each waypoint. You've got your course to your next waypoint. You've obviously got your speed over ground, and in this case in the marina we're being told it has a 4-knot speed limit, but it doesn't tell you course to steer. It doesn't tell you anything like that at all. There is no compass. So I've spent what, £85 I think for the chart data for the app, and it doesn't do that. So it's good as an overview. It's good to tell me I'm here, you know, this is where I'm going, and all the rest of it. But what I found was better was iNavX. Now iNavX uses I've just got a raster chart here, which is from America because it's free, but you can get chart suppliers from, you know, you get charts up here, and it will tell you want to go to the store, and then you can go here from all sort of Navionics. There you go. So you could have UK, Scotland, Ireland, Netherlands, Belgium, France, and it's 85 quid again. So, but the bonus of this is, I haven't set up an account at the moment, but what you've got here is you've got your chart view, you've got your waypoints, you've got your routes, you've got your track. It's much more complicated, you know, not complicated, but, you know, feature rich. But you've also got instruments that you can just bring up straight off, and that'll tell you your heading. As you see here, you've got on the top of the screen, it moves. You've got your rate of turn, speed over ground, lat long, time. You can add loads of other stuff to this as you would like. So, you know, it's a handy sort of thing to have. But I suppose I was expecting that you would download an app that would basically be able to give you this information overlaid with a live chart of where you are, so you can just look at it and go, I'm travelling this speed, this is my course, you know, instead of having that, well, this app does this and this app does that. Because we've got a compass here, obviously this has got its own GPS receiver outside on the flybridge and everything else, but it's nice to double up, you know. So yeah, I'm just a bit disappointed. So if anybody has any advice about, you know, good iPad navigation apps or add-ons that I can get, I'd be keen to hear about them. If you've made it this far into the video, well done on you. So that's the sort of helm. But what a great stand this is, just to fit there and you go, right, take that out, but it can't otherwise slip out. It just can't. It's too grippy. And it, you know, it could serve. Let me try. Let's just go and try. Would it serve as a phone holder? Yep, serves as a phone holder. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And look, you know, it's just what a good buy that was, and what a bad buy some of the other stuff has been. Right, let's go and have a look at the Seagull War, which is going on outside, and I have successfully won. So my war on the seagull population has three main sort of throngs to it. We've got our foil tape, which is, as you can see, a highly reflective, diamond patterned, non-adhesive foil plastic that is very lightweight, makes a nice scrunchily sound. You get a lot of it for very cheap, and that tape there, I'll show you in a moment when we go outside. It is a windy day, so you'll be able to hear and see this in the wind moving, but be aware there will be some noise on the camera microphones. And also some good old barrier tape, you know, for construction sites and stuff. This again, very cheap. You get 500-metre roll of the stuff, has this nice crinkly effect. The reason why I got this is because my neighbour uses this on his flybridge, and he hasn't had a problem with seagulls, so I thought, that's cheap and effective, I'll get some of that. However, I haven't been able to do what I wanted to do on my flybridge because I am actually cultivating Lake Independence up there. So my Tournier cover has become a lake, and I just can't be bothered to get soaking wet and to worry about it. It's been there for 2 weeks. It can sit there. I'm sure it'd be a lovely place for the seagulls to have a bath and something in fresh water, but hey ho, it's there, and that's what it is. So this may not be required, although I could sort of piss around, you know, with it and just randomly start burying off places. But the really effective thing is this tape here, because it's unpredictable. It makes a sound, it moves, and that I think is the main thing that deter birds. If you just had something, let's pretend this potpourri here was a scary thing for a bird, well, after a couple of days it didn't move and it didn't make any sound, they'd be like, oh, well, it's not scary after all. Whereas if something's constantly moving and doing weird things, they don't know if it's going to be scary all the time or not, so just avoid. So let's go out and we'll see how far I've gone. So yesterday I came out here for a very short time. It was raining, it was quite horrible, and I just basically got a bit of cleaner and brush and just got rid of the worst of the built up slimy stuff on the teak decks, just to bring it up a little bit. If you think this looks bad, you should have seen it yesterday. This is the thing, the boat, yes, it's in a sad state of affairs outside. The ropes are green, the fenders need cleaning, the boat needs a thorough polish and so on, but that is cosmetic, and that will be attended to, but it doesn't need to be done right now, and it's certainly not going to affect the performance of the boat at sea. But while I'm here, just looking at the greenness and going, oh, how could you bear it, Robin? Look at this. I'm not exactly a narrow person, and I can comfortably walk along these side decks, and there's things like this here, this barrier that just lifts up both port and starboard side, and you've got your handles here and your non-slip step here. I'm going to have a little stepping ladder that hooks over the side there to, you know, help access. But here is the Seagull Deterrent. Now, this boat here, for example, this Princess, he went for plastic spikes with clearly meant for what they're doing. You know, that's got a nice sort of radius curve and it fits over the railing nice. As you can probably see as well, there's some very thin wire going all the way around. Didn't protect everywhere though, so where they can stand they will, and they will do this. But he's using dressing tape, and that is really seems to be doing a good job for him. Again, it's unpredictable, it moves around, it doesn't make any sound though, but that's nice dressing line, so I don't really want to, you know, go and use that kind of stuff. Whereas over here you can probably hear it making these noises. They haven't come at all. Every morning and every evening there'd be a good sort of 10 seagulls on this deck. They'd all sit up around the bow rail here and shit, and then they would come here and preen themselves and stuff and shit. Well, they tried to come down yesterday, because it's like, you know, habit, isn't it? One tried to land on me spikes. I'll show you me spikes in a moment, and got in a right flap about it, but there is no new bird droppings anywhere. So whilst this may make my boat look to all the other people here like, who's that guy on that trader? Get him the hell out of this marina. He's bringing the right messy boat down even more. But I'm going to leave it for now, and I'm going to remove it after the Christmas period, but keep the spikes. And hopefully the gulls will then have realised that this boat isn't, you know, one to go on, and they'll go and find somewhere else to go. I think they like this boat because it's looking out to where they like to go, you know, rather than, you know, these boats here. They don't have so much perching ability. However, there is a problem. You see, these spikes, I thought I was doing a good thing, you know, marine, stainless steel, blah blah blah. Yeah, they're chromed mild steel. It rained and we've already got rust. I've zip tied these on. I know I'm going to regret this, and the rust is going to get worse and it's going to drip down, but come on guys, it can't get much worse than it already is, can it? So I haven't got the time right now to go and start scrubbing everywhere. It just is. Trust me, if you think this is bad and you think my ropes are green, you should have seen it when I got here before I did anything to it. As I say, upstairs on the flybridge we've got Lake Independence forming in the Tournier cover, but again I can't really be asked to do that, it will just stay there. I need to replace the spreader lights with LEDs. The left hand one has got a lot of water that's sort of filled up in the actual glass lens holder, so that will be something to do as well. But it's 4 screws, that exposes the wires, and I'm just going to try and not trip up. Caught in my own bird trap. Right. So yes, in due course, I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. This here is quite, you know, dull. It's not chalky, but it just needs to be brought up. The non-slip here, I'm not sure if this is original gel or if it's been painted. It looks to me like it's been painted rather than gel, just by the edging where you can see they've masked it. But not a bad thing, because it can be, you know, repainted with some nice all grip stuff. There was a fishing trawler just coming there. I do really like this though, that you're not just in a normal marina, there's a lot of activity going on, and you see them come in and go out and come in. We take it so for granted, you know, daylight to day, just a mild breeze. But if this was like a, you know, horrible, rainy, cold, stormy day, those fishermen, they still go in to that sort of weather to get our fish. and a lot of respect for them. So I like to see that. Let's come in though. It is a bit chilly, it's a bit wet and windy, and you've probably had enough with the noise on the microphones, and I'll talk you through some of the other things I've been doing, which are some of them safety related. So first of all, down here you'll see there is a smoke alarm, and if we go up here to the galley, you'll see that we have another smoke alarm and a carbon monoxide alarm. Now this boat doesn't have any gas cylinders or anything like that, but that's not to say that there isn't a risk of carbon monoxide either from the engines, the generator, or other boats around you. It's such a cheap thing to buy to have on a boat. There's been people die on boats just from running their engines, and the fumes and the gases that you cannot smell, taste or see getting into the boat and basically causing them to die. I'm surprised how many boats do not have these two basic safety items. They have life jackets, they have man overboard things and EPIRBs and everything else, but this, like on board this boat before I got it, no smoke alarm, no carbon monoxide alarm. So it's just foolhardy not to, and it's so easy to get and they're so easy to fit up. And so please, if you're watching this and you own your own boat, just go and get one. Just go online. I went online, got these, delivered the next day, boom, done. They even came with their own batteries. I'm going to replace this fire extinguisher probably at some stage, just because it seems very small for this size sort of area. There is a larger fire extinguisher over here which pretty works fine, but at some stage the gauge has been bashed and no longer works. So you know, you can't really trust if it's going to work or not. As you can see, I've got a fire blanket there, but I've also got another fire blanket here. So I'm like, if there's a fire that needs a blanket, I've got two of them. I've also had a bit of hook obsession. I got these stainless steel self-adhesive hooks, and actually I didn't just put this, there was one already there that was a plastic one, so I thought, well, there's a hook there, I'll get a calendar for the RNLI and I'll put a hook there, you know. Let's have a look at the fridge update. So this is, let's just turn some more lighting on here. This is a bit of wood that holds the fridge in place, and by the way, it's when you start looking at this bit of wood and you see here that you've got you know, Taiwanese writing on it, but it's all solid, you know. This, all this does is to hold the fridge from falling forward. They could have used any cheap nasty bit of wood to do this. You're not going to see it, it doesn't matter, but it's a proper bit of solid wood, weighs a lot, just to hold the fridge in. All stainless steel screws. So when they built this boat, I've got a, you know, beautiful, beautiful. But I took this door off of the fridge. That's this door, by the way, not this door. And I took this off, and I took that off, and I took this off to get this out, to get to the rectifier, and I just thought, Robin, stop it. Just stop doing it now. Wait until January when you've got sort of other guys around to give you a hand with the fridge and everything else. So the fridge is a wait until January when Crew India here job. And I must remember when I go home tomorrow to leave this door open, because it still has a lot of stench. Even though I've twice cleaned it now, and it's as good as it's going to get, it still has that musty smell, and if I put food in there, you know, my food would start to pick up that smell. But anyway, I am quite proud of myself that I managed to get that far and rehang the door and make sure it all does its things, you know, that it closes the door properly and latches shut. So yeah, I'm happy with that. But anyway, didn't realise that ceramic hobs would be quite so difficult to keep clean and not have fingerprints on them all the time. Is there anything going on in here? I don't think there has really been going on in here, other than the fact that by having that door open here and that fan heater working, basically everywhere that I'm walking through on this boat is a nice temperature now. So I'm using what, 1500 watts for 2 fan heaters, and I'm heating the boat to 19 degrees, so I'm happy with that. It's probably more cost effective doing this. Let's work this out. So that's gonna be, let me see, if you don't just mind waiting. I think something's gone wrong with my thumbprint. It's not unlocking anything, even my other phone, which I don't know how to use, and I don't know why I'm keeping you on hold while I'm doing this. But if you just bear with me, and we'll sort this out in a moment. Do 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 do. That's the hold music, by the way. Do 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 do. Okay, so these 2 fan heaters are costing me 33.2 pence an hour to run. That means that's less than I could heat this boat with a diesel fired heater. I'm now walking around, strolling around, I'm talking. Yeah, so I just thought, why did I do that? Because I'm Robin. Anything outside to tell you? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's outside. Oh yes, there is actually, because obviously I need a fridge, so in here I've got another fridge. So I got this cleaned out, and as you can see, it holds my milk, beer and Coke. Yeah. But I must remember to turn these off. I'm going to have to do like a checklist of things now, because you get used to having things switched on, and then you're going to leave the boat and you need to remember to turn them off. Let's see. Oh, I'll show you something down here. Oh, I've also got to show you the engine room, haven't I? So, here this arrived, this new Princess, still with its fenders wrapped in plastic. It's a V40, and the Marina have also put in these here, so absolutely brand new. That's real teak. But you see how tiny and thin it is? You've got just a few millimetres. I've got about a centimetre thick on my decks. But you got the outdrives there, pristine. But I don't really like it. It's so clinical, so white, so open to the elements and everything. I know you can have a cover to cover that over, but if you're going to be in there, you're going to be echoing, talking. All of that helm there is white, so it reflects into the windscreen, which is tinted, the worst possible combination. So you just get a white reflection on the inside of your screens. A lot of money for show. A lot of money for, I don't really care about how it looks. But yeah, Charlie, if you're watching this, what do you think of my lovely fenders? Do you just love it? Are you cringing yet? I do need to sort this one out. But anyway, Lily Jean will not be being around for much longer, because I've measured up, instead of just having the name there, I'm going to have it across the whole back independence, because I know that the passerelle will cover it, and that's why that was put there, but why not? So yes, there's my doorbell. This is the connector there that I was talking about, this big beefy one. That I don't know how to take it out, but what that actually is you can, it just spins, it literally, it doesn't come out, it just spins and spins and spins. If you could get it out, you could connect a hose to that, and that would then bring the boat onto mains water supply and would feed off of that rather than the internal water tank. This is the water fill obviously here, and this here, I don't know what that is. I guess that's going to be a 12 volt feed rather than 240 volts. It's a 2-pin plug, so yeah, I'm sure that would be, well, there's one way of finding out, is just stick a multimeter in there and see what, if anything, you've got. But anyway, that's nicely tucked away there. I've got a shower unit in here for when you're in the Mediterranean and you're bathing and you need to do all of that, but this ain't going to be there. Love it when people buy all these boats, like that one for example there. How often do we have in this country the opportunity to really enjoy all of the lovely weather that was designed for? But hey ho. So let's go down to the engine room and that'll finish off our rather long, laborious update. So I'm just going to go into the engine room. Before I do, just around here on a little hook is some ear defenders. The reason why they're there is obviously when you're underway and you've got to go down and do your checks. Says it all. When the turbos are going and stuff, you're not going to ruin your hearing. So as ever, I'm going to edit my entrance into here because it's never graceful, and we'll talk when I'm inside. So here I am, sat on my little perch in my engine room. I can't remember the amount of times I've come down here and just sat in this place or at the other one and just looked and looked and wondered and gone, Does anyone else do that with their engine rooms? Or maybe not like have the luxury of being able to sit in them, but just look and try and understand and work out where things go and compare engines, like that turbocharger, how does that look, you know, is there any issues burnt that this one is a bit different, you know, and so on. And it's good when you have two engines side by side that you can look at and compare literally straight away like by like with. So reason why I'm down here is, you've obviously seen this all before, but I'm going to talk about fuel. Okay, so some of this is going to be quite difficult for you to see, but down here, as you can see, there's a red valve there and it's in the closed position at the moment. That is the base of the starboard fuel tank, and that is the fuel balancing pipe valve that comes out. And as you can see, if I put the camera down here, it says here fuel balance starboard, and there's the pipe that goes off around here. When I bring the camera around here, under here is where our centre fuel tank is. And as you can see, that pipe that curls round comes to here, where it does a right angle. There's another valve, it's again closed. All of these valves, we've open, closed, nothing seems to change much. Here is the top of the centre tank, and as you can see here, we've got our domestic water supply, we've got our chiller line for the air conditioning, we've got here fuel lines, we've got here that's the fuel. Aha! that is a fuel line, because that's the top of the tank there. That's going to be a fuel return, I presume, because it's going in the top of the tank, because that's the top of the tank plate there. Where does that go to? And that's a smaller diameter pipe. Oh, the plot thickens. And these fuel lines here come from there. So this here is air conditioning, hot water, cold water, fuel transfer, balancing. Well, live as it happens, let's have a look. Let's get involved, come on then. What the hell we got going on here then? Twin disc, SAE 3 standard. That's for the gearboxes. Okay, why is that here? That's because I've got ZF gearboxes. That should not... I'm not... Right, I'm going to put that there for now. Right, okay, so what can we see here? We've got here... That is going to be fuel... Where the hell does that go then? That comes out and off. Out and off. Out and off. That's going to be for the generator. I know that that goes off down towards the generator, that yellow fuel pipe. Then we've got here fuel balancing port closed. Again, we've tried to open this. There is some corrosion here, quite significant corrosion on there. Look, you can see that's corroded there. You probably can't see, but you can now. So what we're looking at there, guys, is this tank generally is in alright condition. I think, you know what, there's me saying it's not that big of a tank. It is, isn't it? Because it goes off under there in that direction, so it's not just this big. Okay, and this side here is brilliant, and this side here is corroded, so something really quite nasty is attacking it here. Sorry, but I haven't looked at this clearly. This here is all corroded, and that, I reckon that's possibly where our issue might lie, is in this pipe here, because everywhere else seems in quite decent condition apart from here. But that tank then is going to be significantly larger than I thought it was going to be, because I just can't see, and I know I'm filming while I'm doing this and we're sort of exploring at the same time. I thought it was just about that tall and that was all that we were dealing with, but actually if it goes off under the galley sole there, then yes, of course it's going to be a lot bigger, and of course it is a lot bigger. There's no, because that does go back. Yeah, it definitely does go back. But I'll get a torch. Sorry about this, I do just want to put my hand down there. Oh yeah. Does that go back? I don't know if it does go back. It looks like it goes back under that floor, but then why would you breach a bulkhead just for a fuel tank? Because that's solid. Anyway, we've discovered something. In fact, what does it actually say on there? It says capacity US gallons 90. So it's 90 gallons. It's a soft steel, it's 26mm diesel, and this was produced in June 2002. So there we go. We know that the tank is a 26mm soft steel, and we know that on this corner we have some corrosion starting up. So what I will do is I'm going to show you something else. Bear with me one moment. Okay, so effectively then we've seen that that's the centre fuel tank there, and then down here is our port balancing pipe and valve in the off position. So when the fuel was being dealt with and treated, what we did is we opened that, we opened all the things, and effectively the fuel did not transfer from that pipe there through here, through the centre, off over there, and balance the whole system out. So as I sit here right now, that tank there on the starboard side is absolutely brimmed full, whereas this tank here is about 3/4 full. Why then is the ship not listing to starboard? I'll tell you why. It's because we have that bloody big crane on the port side upstairs, and that explains why when both tanks were equal in their capacities, that there was a distinct little list to port, and I'm blaming that on the crane and the rib up top. So the thing is, I was speaking to Charlie Griffin, and he was sort of talking about the fact that that tank just sits there effectively as ballast and has no fuel return. Well, it does, clearly. We've got fuel coming into it and fuel going out from it. We've got yellow fuel lines here. I'll tell you what I don't like the look of necessarily. It's not like it's a pool of water, but there is stuff down there. Can you see that? It's not water. It's glistening. I'm worried if that is hydraulic oil that could have leaked from this hydraulic tank. But anyway, this is the size pipe that we're dealing with, okay? This is the hydraulic pipe, as you can see here, and that goes down there. But and none of that looks at all corroded or wrong with. I wonder where this pipe here goes to, though, this fuel pipe. So it isn't just sat there like a dumb tank full of fuel for ballast. It does something, and that's why we've got here on the manifold for the fuel the starboard engine, generator, port engine, but the centre fuel tank here, return balance normally closed, is closed. Obviously we opened all of this, by the way, and over here as well it's closed as well, the centre tank. So it would appear, looking at this, that the port engine here and the starboard engine work off of these tanks, port off port, starboard off starboard, and the generator runs off the centre tank. And then the fuel balancing between port, starboard and centre is dealt with down here. So we need that generator for heat, for electrical power for heat. Generator was last serviced in 24th of November 2009, says the sticker. Previous owner didn't go very far in it. Previous owner didn't need the generator. Why does he need to worry about the centre fuel tank being operational then? I need the generator, I need the centre fuel tank doing. This now has uprated this situation now to being, this needs to be done before we cruise in 1st of February. So Mountbatten Boathouse, I hope that you can come to the rescue, otherwise I'll be going elsewhere to find someone who can take the fuel out of the tanks, take that, test these valves. What we need to know is it the valves or is it the pipe that's blocked? And we can't test this or know if this pipe is blocked with 1,000 litres of fuel in each tank. So that's the quandary. Go on, these people watching on the Norfolk Broads forums and Facebook groups and all that malarkey with your river boats, you know, with your 30-40 horsepower BMC engine. You think, oh no, I've got a problem with this or that. Well, This is like real world boating. One thing leads to another thing, leads to another thing, but it's all right. It's all right. I've been told. It just needs more money. And it all gets put right then. So anyway, let's come out of the engine room. So there we go. As ever with these blogs, you know, it's just myself dealing with these things and finding things out and bringing you guys through the beauty of the camera into the belly of the beast, quite literally. And I've just noticed here that the steps looking rather odd. If you're wondering what's that thing, it's just the engine room steps I've left up. But no, so basically what bothers me is the time's really ticking now between now and our planned departure date of the 1st of February. The reason why it's bothering me is there are crew that are coming for that have booked tickets, and if the weather is the problem in all of this, that's out of anyone's control. If it's too horrible, rough, whatever, you don't risk people's safety, you don't go, and upsetting as it may be, that's one thing. If, however, you have a situation where you've got stuff that can be solved by people and tools, and you didn't get on with it quickly enough, or you've run into difficulties, or the company's let you down or something, and you say, I'm really sorry, but it's not looking like we can go on the date that we said we were going to go because the engine room's in bits with pipes everywhere and stuff, that's what's starting to bother me. So I don't think this is going to necessarily be a very horrible thing to sort out. I do think it's going to take quite a bit of time, labour and cost, and it does need to have the boat in a boat yard where they can physically take the fuel off of the boat and contain it temporarily before putting back on the boat. It's not the sort of thing a marina would be happy, you know, with going on in drums by the side of the boat of fuel. So, I know this video was quite long, it's quite involved, but I wanted to do this update, go through some things because I'm not going to be on this boat for a while. I'm going to be away in Norfolk over the Christmas period. If Sheila lets me get the camera out, I will do a captain's blog then, but I have to respect, you know, she doesn't mind being filmed and stuff, but there are periods of times when she wants it just for us and having a holiday and spending time together. So the captain's blog, you know, has to come second. When it's my situation here on my own, then I'm more than happy to have, you know, the camera rolling, as it were. So that has been it. So if you have been, thanks very much for watching, and I know that I will be putting this video up this week, so it is Christmas time, and can I seriously say, not just for new viewers that have come over and watching this from the point of view of maybe that they're, you know, involved in sea boating themselves, for regular viewers, for long-term viewers, I know you're all around the world. I get some really lovely emails from Jean over in Florida in America, and her husband, 86 years old, retired mechanical engineer, really keenly interested, watching this develop and you know, pointing out things to his wife and stuff. So hello to you. To everybody else though, that I've met along the way on the rivers and so on and so forth, for all the banter and sort of debates and arguments in various forums and everything else, have a very happy Christmas and a very prosperous New Year. And if this is the last captain's blog and nothing gets filmed on Broad Ambition, then do not worry, because in 2018 we will be back again and we will be progressing and sharing what we're doing here on board this trader that I've called Independence. And it's certainly an interesting situation to be part of, and it's lovely to be able to share it with you. And I hope that there's not too many people that have been put off by this, going, Christ, you know, we were thinking about buying a boat, now it's like this. Yes, it can go wrong, and yes, if you're going to buy a boat, then do remember, this will be needed a lot. Have a lovely Christmas, people. Bye for now.